Hi and welcome back to Love English. I'm Leila and today I want to help you understand conditionals. And I don't want to help you understand the first conditional, the second conditional, or even the third conditional. I want to help you understand all of the conditionals, which in fact includes zero. That's right, there are in fact 4 conditionals: zero, first, second, and third. And of course, there are rules that we can break when it comes to conditionals. But for now, I'm going to teach you the basic structures of those conditionals. I'm going to teach you in what situations you should use them, and I'm going to make sure you don't make any errors with them again. Right, let's get started. Zero, first, second, and third. 4 conditionals. You can do it. Now, the first thing I want to teach you before I even go into zero, first, second, and third conditional is to make sure you understand that a conditional is formed with 2 parts, basically 2 clauses, 2 sentences. You have the hypothetical if clause, and then you have the result clause. So these 2 clauses come together to form a conditional sentence, and this is true of all the conditionals. Now, when it comes to separating those conditionals, let's have an example here. If I went to Spain, I would drink sangria. If I went to Spain, I would drink sangria. Now here you can see the if clause. If I went to Spain, I'm hypothesizing, I'm imagining a situation where I went to Spain. I need to have a comma, okay? So the comma comes after that clause. And then we'd have, I would drink sangria, full stop. That is generally the way we would use a conditional. However, you could also flip that around. So you could say, I would drink sangria if I went to Spain. So when the if clause comes at the end of the conditional, you don't need a comma. So I just wanted to share that one grammar point because it applies to all the conditionals. And I don't have to keep repeating myself. So, zero conditional, zero, okay? Zero conditional is formed with if plus present simple, comma, plus present simple. If you press that button, the light turns on. If you press that button, the light turns on. If you heat water to 100 degrees centigrade, it boils. If you want to turn on the TV, press that button. Now, zero conditional focuses on real possible situations that could happen at any time, but often this is actually in the present. We use the zero conditional to talk about general truths. So if you heat water, it boils. This is a general truth. It's a fact, in fact. So this is another reason that we would use zero conditional. And of course, we use zero conditional for instructions. If you want to turn on the TV, press that button. There we go. So 3 reasons that we use zero conditional. Right, first conditional. So it gets a little bit more complicated here, but in fact, the first conditional is quite commonly used in English. With first conditional, you need if plus present simple, comma, will, won't, be going to, may, might. In fact, there's quite a few options that you could use here. But essentially, after all of these, you need the verb in the infinitive form. Remember, these are modal verbs, except for be going to. But of course, after be going to, I'm going to go, you need the infinitive verb. So it's not present simple, it's the infinitive. We use the first conditional to talk about possible situations in the present or the future. So they are possible. It's quite likely that these things will happen. For example, if it's sunny tomorrow, I'll go for a walk. If it's sunny tomorrow, I'll go for a walk. Here we've got a possible future event and the result. Nice and simple. You can use first conditional to make an offer. If you need help, I'll come over. Here you're offering your services, you're offering to help somebody. You can also use first conditional for warnings. I'll call the police if you don't stop annoying me. I'll call the police if you don't stop annoying me. Okay, a little bit dramatic just to be annoyed, but you get the idea. And of course, pay attention to that last one because you can see I'll call the police. I've put the result first. Why have I done this? Well, it just might show that the result is pretty serious. So if you're warning someone, this could be a good way to warn them with first conditional. I'll call the police if you don't stop annoying me. Of course, perfectly okay to say, if you don't stop annoying me, I'll call the police. There's just a slight change in focus when you choose to put the result clause first. Right, we're doing pretty well and we're moving on to second conditional. So the structure of second conditional. If plus past simple, comma, plus would or wouldn't or could or couldn't, and the infinitive verb following them. Again, they are modal verbs, so you need an infinitive form. So we use the second conditional for 3 reasons. 1, to talk about possible but unlikely situations in the future. It's possible but not probable. To talk about present situations that are impossible, so something right now that is just not possible. It's a completely imagined situation. And we can also use second conditional to give advice. This is a brilliant way to use the second conditional and in fact very commonly used in English. Let's look at some examples. If I won the lottery, I would buy a really fast car. If I won the lottery, I would buy a really fast car. Now, I play the lottery, so it's possible that I could win, but it's unlikely. The odds of me winning are pretty low. So here we've got a situation in the future that's not likely to happen. And if it does, don't worry, I will still continue to make YouTube videos for you guys. So pay attention with the second conditional pronunciation. Try contracting there. If I won the lottery, I'd buy a fast car, buy a red car, buy a boat, I'd buy a boat. Number 2, if I were an animal or insect, I would be a butterfly because I'd be beautiful and I could fly anywhere I wanted. Pay attention here. We are obviously talking about a situation that is just not possible, if I were, but listen to that. It's not if I was, but it's if I were. In the second conditional, we use this structure. It's a hypothetical situation, so if I were. Let me know, comment below, if you were an animal or an insect, what would you be? See if we can understand your personality a little bit more from the second conditional. What animal or insect would you be if you could be any? So this is a hypothetical situation now. It is not possible. It's not going to happen. Okay, you're not suddenly going to become a butterfly or a lion or tiger, hippo. What would you be? So the second conditional is also used for giving advice. In fact, it is very commonly used for giving advice. If you ask me, what should I do to improve my English? I could say, if I were you, pay attention, remember we said were with second conditional. If I were you, I would read more. If I were you, I would watch more Netflix. So there we can see the second conditional is used in a very practical function, giving advice. So there we go, second conditional. So far, so good. You're doing a great job to still be following. Third conditional is looking at the past. Unlike first, second, and 0, third conditional focuses on a hypothetical past. You can't change this, but you imagine how things would be if they were different. Let's have a look at the structure. With third conditional, you need if plus past perfect, that's had plus the past participle, plus would or could or should, or even might or may. Now pay attention to this next bit because people often make mistakes. After the if clause, if plus past perfect, you need would or could or should or may or might plus have plus the past participle. So there's 2 past participles in a third conditional in both the clauses. So although it looks like present perfect, have plus past participle, it's not. It's not because after should, could, would, you do not have has. Has is the third person form. She has gone, he has gone, but I have gone. We don't have that in third conditional because we are using a modal verb before it. Whew, I told you it gets more complicated. So that is the structure. Let's have a look at some examples. 1. The biggest reason we use third conditional to express regret. If I had seen the red light, I would have stopped the car. If I had seen the red light, I would have stopped the car. If I'd studied harder, I would have passed the test. If I'd studied harder, I would have passed the test. Did you hear the difference in my pronunciation that last time? Listen carefully to this. If I'd studied harder, I would have passed the test. So getting the pronunciation right here is really important. It's a long sentence. There's a lot of words there. Contracting them is going to make you sound more natural. If I'd studied harder, I would have passed the test. Of course, in the same way, if I'd studied harder, I could have passed the test. So there we go. Nice, simple examples. Remember, this is hypothetical past. I didn't study hard. I didn't pass the test. I can't change that. I wish I could. Essentially, that's what you're saying with third conditional. Criticism. The next one, third conditional, we can use to criticize somebody or even ourselves. If you'd worked harder, you could have passed the test. If you'd worked harder, you could have passed the test. If you had worked harder, you could have passed the test. Hear how it sounds quite strange and unnatural to pronounce all of those words very slowly and separately. If you'd worked harder, you could have passed the test. So there we have it. So there we go. That's it. All the conditionals. Those are the pure conditionals. 0, first, second, and third. Please comment below and try and use some of those conditionals. I already asked you a few questions throughout the lesson. First conditional, if it's sunny tomorrow, what will you do? Tell me, comment below, let me know. Second conditional, if you were an animal or an insect, what would you be? If you were an animal or an insect, what would you be? Start the sentence, if I were an animal, I would be, let me know. And let me know why as well. And finally, third conditional, do you have any regrets in the past? What do you wish you had done differently? Remember, if I had worked harder, you didn't work hard, I would have passed the test, you didn't pass the test. So comment below, have a go using some of those conditionals. It's the best practice you can get. And of course, you can also ask for my advice on how to study English. I will respond using which conditional? Second, that's right. Thank you so much for watching and don't forget to share this lesson if you thought it was useful. Bye.